Guest in this segment is the director of the Stubblefield Institute. By the way, Ashley Horst. She joins us via telephone because, as Bill said, I want to keep her safe. She's a good one. I don't want her getting in trouble driving in here on those roads.
That's not what I said. Ashley, that is not what I said. I said, what a wuss. She should be here.
Well, I'd be coming from Glengarry, so sometimes it's a bit of a different world over the mountain.
Ash, I tried. I really did. I was trying to build you up there and make you sound valuable, but Bill trashed it.
Yeah, but he was not very effective, Ashley.
I was not. I'm not good at communicating, which is the difficulty in this industry, by the way. Ash, good morning. How you feeling out there in Glengarry?
We are enjoying watching the snow. My three daughters are home today. Obviously, schools are closed, and they're actually not excited about that because this is going to be their first day back after Christmas break.
Right.
And my kids love school, and so they're a little disappointed, but I think that'll go away when they're sledding later today.
I'm sure. And you probably have them at home tomorrow, too, I would guess.
That's what we're expecting.
Yeah, very good. Hey, the Stubblefield Institute got some national recognition, and some would say even international in some pockets because of the civility awards that were done, and Newsweek, which is a big name in publications, was part of this as well. Can you explain how this all tied together?
Absolutely. So shortly after I joined the Stubblefield Institute, actually, we connected with Newsweek. So this was back in 2022. This has been a fairly long time in the making. And Newsweek is very interested in offering opportunities for civil debate, for civil discourse, and they were
Ashley, apparently the cell signal in Glengarry isn't as strong on a snowy day as it usually is. I think we just lost Ashley.
There you go. You're back.
Look, it must have been in a pocket of
Can you
snow.
hear me better?
Much better.
I will not move from this spot.
Stay frozen, yes.
So anyway, so the first round of awards were given in 2022, and this is the second round of awards. And what was really exciting, not only the partnership with Newsweek, but that we opened up nominations for these awards to people all across the country. And so it was really an interesting time to get to see who Newsweek readers and Stubblefield Institute supporters thought really represented civility.
Talk about some of the awards, Ashley, and the awardees, if you would.
Absolutely. So this year's awards, we gave 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, and those went to Senator Debbie Stabenow from Michigan and Sam Feist and C-SPAN. It actually went to C-SPAN. Sam Feist is the CEO. I think most of us are very familiar with C-SPAN and the real legacy they have of providing unfiltered, unedited access to our federal government. So those 2 received Lifetime Achievement Awards. Our federal elected officials are Senator Shelley Moore Capito, our own West Virginia senator, and then Senator Chris Coons, Representative Brendan Boyle, and Representative Young Kim. Then going into our state and community leaders, we have Utah Governor Spencer Cox, and then Ibu Patel, who leads the organization based out of Chicago, Interfaith America. And then finally, our philanthropists were the Kettering Foundation.
Very good. Bill, your thoughts on these awards and the tying them in with Newsweek?
Yeah, that's one of my questions to Ashley as well. One of the individuals that deserves a lot of credit, along with Ashley, for making this work is Scott Widmeyer. Scott has a very close working relationship with Newsweek, has had for several years. And partnership with Newsweek, I felt to be kind of a double-edged sword. Certainly we got a lot more visibility, got a lot more recognition, and we reached a much broader audience. We did lose a little bit of our autonomy by, I think, going with Newsweek, and there was a lot of work involved. I think more work than what most of us appreciated. My question, and I have not been involved with this, I want to give Ashley and Scott full credit. They're the ones that did all the they initiated the effort, they did all the legwork, and they were in it from beginning to the actual award days. And they were both in New York for the awards. Ashley, your sense of were we a big winner with this? Is something that we want to try to do in the future? Did the benefits outweigh the work involved? Just your overall sense of how it went.
Double-edged sword.
Can you start that sentence over, Ashley? I think you moved.
I said I think Bill is right when he says it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So, obviously when you're working with a much larger organization, sometimes the coordination of efforts might be more challenging. I mean, I think you can see that in all industries. But on the flip side of that, we were able to bring in a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't have otherwise had. So, for example, in November, we were able to, Dan Bush, who's the Newsweek correspondent, and I were in D.C. with a video crew, and we went around to all of the award winners and gave them their awards and filmed them talking about why civil discourse is important to them. And then Newsweek's team put together a very nice video, which you can see on our website, highlighting all of the award winners. And so it's things like that that would have been more challenging if we were going at it alone. And also being able to get into a lot of representative offices, it's a lot easier with Newsweek.
It's a big name, that's for sure.
Actually, I want to talk about the award itself, the elements of the award. Are there objective criteria that award winners meet, or is it a subjective decision? Is there a committee that decides? How does that all work?
So we do have a committee, and excuse me, the committee was made up of individuals from Newsweek and from the Stubblefield Institute. So, for example, Scott Widmeyer, who Bill has spoken about, and Kelly Johnston, who are our board co-chairs, and myself represented the Stubblefield Institute. And then on the Newsweek side, we have Cooper, who's their global editor-in-chief, along with Jennifer Cunningham, who's their executive editor. And we together took the nominations. And I know I looked at a couple of different indexes that are available. There's one that does rate bipartisanship. There's one that talks about effectiveness in government. And so I used those a little bit, and I also infused those into our discussions because when we looked at each of the members, they would then, I could give those ratings. The other person who was involved, we had Val Demings and Margaret Spellings, who are from the Bipartisan Policy Center in Washington, D.C., because they too have worked with many of our government officials over their time, and those two women were represented by Steve Scully. Sorry, I lost that name for a moment. And he was fantastic to work with as well. So
I think we're losing you again, Ash.
Are we back?
Yep, you are back.
There we go. I had to move 2 feet to the right.
I guess snow affects cell service. Yeah. So did you have a follow-up on that, John, or were you good?
No, I'm just curious. So are there, obviously not mention names, are there nominees that are discussed and then, lack of a better term, rejected or passed over in favor of others? Or is it...
So there were certainly some nominees that were, I would say, passed over, that you saw the name and did a little digging and could definitely find reasons why either they don't tend to work in a bipartisan manner, or they're on the Senate floor name calling as opposed to trying to build bridges across the aisle. And so, yes, there certainly were some that were passed over. I can say honestly that two things. One, it was really interesting to get to research our elected officials and our community leaders, getting to see some of the amazing work that they're doing, especially especially in the community leader category, that was a really tough one to pick because there were so many people who were doing just wonderful things and making a huge difference in their community. And then the other piece is that we had a good list. It was hard. It was hard to choose sometimes. And there were definitely ones that were like, well, if we were giving two, we would definitely give to both. One, this is who we'd end up going with.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, John, the net of applicants, I think, was fairly broad. I know I submitted a lot of names, and the names I submitted were, I thought, competitive, but not competitive to the point that they rose to the surface. So there was a huge network of people that were nominated.
So your name's on the door. So, but the who else can make nominate? Can citizens anywhere make a nomination to the committee?
That is correct. So there was an online form on Newsweek's website where anyone and everyone could nominate someone for a civility award.
What do you win if you win a civility award?
You win recognition, a thank you, and a very nice trophy.
Oh, cool. What's the trophy say on it?
It says Newsweek Stubblefield Institute Civility Awards, and then the category that the award winner is receiving.
You said 22 was the first year you did this, Ashley?
That is correct.
Nothing last year?
Nothing last year. Right now we're looking at doing it every 2 years, and hopefully the program will really take root even more, and we will maybe one day do that every year, but right now we're going to stick with every 2 years.
And do you anticipate, Ashley, that you'll cooperate with Newsweek again?
I'm not sure yet. I think we have not debriefed on that. We just had our award ceremony on December 10th, and that was in New York at One World Trade Center, which is where the Newsweek headquarters are. And obviously, we finished that, and then we came home, and it was straight into the holidays. So I expect that will be a conversation we will be having later this month.
If I might make a suggestion in regards to what's awarded the winners, I would do all what you're doing now, but also throw in one share of Bill's Tesla stock.
How about you buying a share of stock?
This to me, this process lends itself to a much broader program that would be state level awards or regional awards that then funnel into a national award. Is that in the plan somewhere?
So I see what you're saying. We haven't discussed that yet. At this point, this really was an expansion over the 2022 awards. So the 2022 awards were given to two members of the House of Representatives, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, Suzanne Clark, who's the CEO of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and then the late Mark Shields and David Brooks. And so that was a much smaller pool than what we awarded this year. So for us to do 4 members of our federal government, along with a philanthropist, and then the community leader, that was the expansion for us. So possibly in the future we could look at something that funnels up, but we're really taking it one step at a time.
Now, in the 2 years ago, in 2022, we did it on the Hill in Washington, D.C., and it was a formal affair, but yet kind of a cozy, informal environment as well. Did you have the same thing in New York?
I would say yes. So in New York, we paired the Civility Award ceremony with a fabulous panel discussion that was sponsored by SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Managers, and it was on civility in the workplace. And so we had the panel discussion, really great questions.
She moved again, Bill.
But when she comes back, she'll have words of wisdom.
Oh, if she comes back.
If she comes back. She may have left us.
This would, see, Brad Knoll had, I blame this on Brad. Brad complained earlier in the comments section that if she's in Glengarry, she's Back Creek Valley. How does she get such a good signal when he can't get one? And Brad, you got him.
Yeah.
You got her. So
thanks, Brad.
Thanks. We can blame this all on Brad.